Hey everyone, so today we're going to solve multi-step equations. So you're going to need a calculator, your notebook, and a pencil. So when we solve multi-step equations, we're just going to try and create a series of simpler equivalent equations. So you're going to use properties of equality, inverse operation, and properties of real numbers. What we're trying to do is isolate the variable. So let's look at this problem. The first thing you want to do is combine like terms. So I know 3n and 4n I can combine to get 7n, and then I'm left with a positive 9 equals 2. Notice that I can only touch what's on one side of the equation and what's on the other side. I can only combine like terms that are on one side, and then I can only combine like terms that are on the other side. Now we have a two-step equation. Opposite of adding is subtracting, so I'm going to subtract 9 to both sides. Bring down 7n. 2 minus 9, keep, flip, change. You get negative 7. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, and n equals negative 1. So again, looking back at the beginning problem, I can only combine the terms that are on the same side of the equation. So this is one side of the equation, this is the other side of the equation. So let's look at this one. Again, this is one side of the equation, this is the other side of the equation. So I can only combine the like terms on that side. So here on this side, there's nothing to combine, so I give negative 15. Here I have a positive 5b minus 2b to get a positive 3b, and then a positive 12 plus a positive 6 is a positive 18. Now I have a two-step. Opposite of adding is subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 18 to both sides. Cancels out. I bring down my 3b. I'm going to keep, flip, change, and you can use your calculator. So negative 15 plus a negative 18 is a negative 33. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, and a negative 33 divided by a positive 3 is a negative 11. If I take my negative 11 and plug it in for b, I should get an answer of negative 15. Notice I'm showing all my work to keep my steps clear. So again, this is one side of the equation. This is the other side of the equation. So I'm going to combine like terms. A positive 2c plus a positive 3c is 5c plus 2 equals 12. Opposite of adding is subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides. Bring down my 5c equals 10. Opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide 5 to both sides. And c equals 2. Let's look at this one. Again, this is one side of the equation. This is the other side of the equation. So 11m minus 6m is a positive 5m minus 8 equals 22. Opposite of subtracting is adding. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Bring down your 5m equals 22 plus 8 is 30. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, and m equals 6. We have a negative 2y and a positive 5y to get 3y plus 5 equals 14. Opposite of adding is subtracting, so I'm going to subtract 5 to both sides. 3y equals 9. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, so I'm going to divide 3 by both sides, and y equals 3. Let's try one more together. We have 2m and a negative 8m To get a negative 6m, use your calculator. 2 minus 8, or 2 plus the negative 8. Bring down our positive 4 equals 28. Then we have our two-step. Opposite of adding is subtracting. I have to bring down the negative 6m. Cannot forget that negative sign. Equals 24. Opposite of multiplying is dividing. And m equals a negative 4. Go ahead and try these two on your own. So here we should have combined 5h minus 1h to get 4h. Brought down your positive 2 equals 22. Opposite of adding is subtracting, so I subtract 2 to both sides. Bring down my 4h equals 20. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, and h equals 5. Over here, I have 3b plus b minus 8 equals 4. 3b plus b is 4b. Bring down my minus 8 equals 4. Opposite of subtracting is adding. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. 4b equals 12. Divide both sides by 4, and b equals 3. So let's practice solving using with the distributive property. So again, I'm going to distribute the negative 8 to both terms on the inside. So negative 8 times a positive 2x is a negative 16x. A negative 8 times a negative 1 is a positive 8. And then I go ahead. Opposite of adding is subtracting. Use your calculator to make sure you're computing correctly. 36 minus 8 is 28. I'm bringing down my negative 16x. Notice I'm circling it so I remember to bring down the negative. Opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 16. And then 28 divided by a negative 16 is going to give us a negative 1 and 7,500. Or a negative 1 and 3/4. So let's look at this one. I'm going to distribute 3 times positive 2x and 3 times a negative 6. I'm going to bring 18. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times a negative 6 is a negative 18. Opposite of subtracting is adding, so I'm going to add 18 to both sides. Bring down my 6x. 18 plus 18 gives you 36. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, and x equals 6. Again, looking at this one, 5 times a 2x is 10x. 5 times a negative 3 is negative 15 equals 15. Opposite of subtracting is adding, so I'm going to add 15 to both sides. 10x equals 30. Opposite of multiplying is dividing. I always divide the number that's next to the variable. And x equals 3. Go ahead and try these two on your own. Be careful over here. You want to first bring down the n, then distribute, and then you combine like terms, and then solve. Always distribute, combine like terms, then solve. So here you should have brought down 64, distributed the 8 to the r to get 8r, distributed the 8 to the positive 2 to get a positive 16. Opposite of adding is subtracting. Bring down my 8r, bring down my 48. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, and r equals 6. Here I said to bring down your n, distribute your 5 to get 5n, distribute your 5 to your negative 1 to get negative 5. Combine like terms, n plus 5n is 6n. Add 5, then divide, and n equals 2. If you need more examples, I have a couple more on the next couple of slides, so feel free to do these and make sure you write them in your notes. I'm going to split the screen so you can see two at once. So you should have gotten a -11 and -3. Again, distribute to get 4m plus 12 equals -32. Subtract 12. Be careful because you have a -32 minus 12 to get a -44, and then you divide. Here you have a -2x. A negative times a negative is a positive 18. Then you subtract 18. Go ahead and try these two. Here you got a 28 minus 70 equals a -84. Be careful over here because you want to use the sign that's in front of the number. So it's a positive 28. So you subtract and then you divide. Over here, you want to make sure you distribute, bring down your positive 9. Combine like terms, and then you subtract and solve. Let's go ahead and look at this word problem. Since your class hopes to collect 1,200 returnable bottles to raise money for a class trip, during the first week, 24 students in your class collect an average of 34 bottles each. About how many more bottles per student should the class collect? They want you to go through and underline things that you know. So now we know that there are 24 students in the class and that they collect 34 bottles per student. Plus we want to know how many additional more bottles should be collected to get a total of 1,200. So I'm going to distribute to get 24 times 34 to get 816, 24 times R to get 24R, and then 1,200. I'm going to subtract 816. Subtract 816 to both sides. Bring down your 24R equals 1,200 minus 816 to get 384. You're going to divide both sides by 24. And R equals 16. So that's it for this lesson. So I want you to go back, take any notes that you need to. Make sure you put a star next to any questions you have, or problems you have questions with. And I will see you tomorrow in class. Don't forget to go and take the quiz on the Google Docs form. That's attached to the video. You can find it on the 7th grade website, or you can also go to our Edmodo page. Thank you. Have a good night.